#1 team of the nation, the Duke Blue Devils, taking on the Texas Longhorns, hoping to pull off an upset today and pick up a very big win. Welcome to ESPN's Feast Week, presented by Lowe's, and the PK80 Invitational, presented by State Farm. Yesterday, Marvin Bagley III, 18 points, 15 rebounds in a win over Portland State. And for Texas, it was guard Andrew Jones leading the way with a team-high 16 as the Longhorns beat Butler 61-48 to advance. So here's how the bracket looks on the championship side of the motion bracket. Great-looking game later on tonight. Florida's playing some unbelievable basketball. They'll take on Gonzaga. But first things first, we have Duke and Texas for a spot in the final on Sunday. Hi again, everybody. Glad you're back with us. Dan Schulman and Jay Billis. This one should be a lot of fun. We're going to see two of the longest, most talented freshmen you will ever see in this game.
Well, Mohamed Bamba of Texas has a 7'9" wingspan. He is a shot blocker, and he's going up against Marvin Bagley, who's one of the best players in the country at both ends of the floor and can really change ends. But it's not just those two. These are two big, strong front lines. Whichever team controls the glass and controls the paint will control the game.
And Bagley and Bamba will be huge factors. We don't want to shortchange Wendell Carter Jr., another incredibly talented front court player. He's a tandem up front with a Bagley for Duke. Texas, of course, in the burnt orange, and Duke in blue. And we are underway here in Portland. And Bamba, trying to make a really strong move, was not very assertive with the ball down in the post yesterday. Trent off the glass, and Duke strikes first.
Duke starting off in man-to-man against Texas, and Duke against Portland State in the second half especially wound up going to a zone that really limited the penetration of the Vikings.
With the ball right now, number 2 for Texas, Matt Coleman. He chose Texas over Duke. The Blue Devils were interested in him. Of course, Duke made out pretty well with Trayvon Duval as their freshman point guard. Dylan Ositkowski, a transfer from Tulane. Nice little shovel pass inside, but we have a foul away from the play going on the Blue Devils.
Ositkowski does a really good job of playing with pace. He's really strong, and he's an excellent passer. I mean, that was a really good pass and a very good cut.
We mentioned yesterday in their win over Butler, he is referred to, one of his nicknames is the conductor, because he orchestrates so many things. They run so much through him at the offensive end, and he just tied the game.
Boy, Duke fell completely asleep. Ositkowski was wide open just standing there. He didn't even have to move.
The Blue Devils ranked number 1 in the nation. They are 6-0. Texas is undefeated at this point. Very early in the year, they are 4-0 as Allen misses the floater.
Well, Allen has not been firing on all cylinders with his shot. Only 1 of 6 from three-point range in the game against Portland State. He had 14 points. He had 9 assists, only 2 turnovers. Played a really good floor game, but has not been shooting the ball quite as well. Let's take a look at this inbounds play that Texas just had. Duke was in man-to-man out of the inbounds play, and he's standing there all by himself. Just a total breakdown in communication as to who had whom. You notice the whom?
I did. Whom. Yeah, you're very grammatically sound. And again, Duke, as talented as they are, and we see this at times from a team like Duke, a team like Kentucky, they are extremely young. They are starting 4 freshmen, so there's still a learning curve. For as good as they are, there's still a lot of things to learn. And the last time that Mike Krzyzewski started a team with 4 freshmen before this year was 1982-83. Dawkins, Allery, Henderson, and a guy we've lost track of over the years, somebody named Billis, who was a starter back then.
Yeah, that didn't work out very well, did it? No wonder he wants older players.
4-2 Texas in the early going. The winner to play the winner of Florida and Gonzaga in the motion bracket final on Sunday. Duval stops at a dime, misses the jumper, and down with a rebound. Bamba nearly threw it away as Duval came sneaking in there.
Well, Coleman did a great job of getting back to get that ball. Otherwise, Duval would have taken it away. But Mohamed Bamba, with his length, makes Wendell Carter look smaller.
Bamba again trying to back him down. And Ositkowski on the glass to make it a 4-point game.
How long did it take for Texas to get 6 points in the game against Butler yesterday?
I mean, they got hot at the end of the first half to wind up with 22 at the break. Trent stops at the free throw line and knocks it down.
A terrific curl off the low screen on the block on the right. And Gary Trent, that's 2 moves that he's made in this game that have been really, really strong.
A strong drive and finish for Andrew Jones, the sophomore out of Irving, Texas.
Just got caught on the high side of Andrew Jones there. He did a great job of going against the contact. He had a really good game yesterday against Butler.
A former McDonald's All-American who put his name into the NBA draft but did not sign with an agent, decided to come back, took the input he got from NBA types about how he had to improve his game. And if you look at the players Texas has on the floor, as rough a year as they had last year, with the transfer Ossetkowski, with Bamba now there as a freshman, another year under the belt for Jones, Coleman, the freshman point guard. This is a talented group that's going to make some noise in the Big 12.
No, they have a good team, but it's really going to come down to how well this team shoots it. Great shot fake and pass.
Ossetkowski into the corner, and the three is there for Jones, and the Longhorns are off to a great start.
They do such a good job with shot fakes, and they're playing at a much better tempo, and Duke has not put a ton of pressure on them thus far in the game, but Texas off to a great start.
Allen misses the three. Bamba the rebound. He had a dozen yesterday against Butler. Running the floor, Roach, and Grayson Allen just committed the foul, and that will be his second.
Texas taking advantage to pass the ball ahead and get down the floor. That's a terrific pass in transition. The one-handed bounce pass. And Kerwin Roach is off not only to a good start in this game, but a good start overall. He's guarding Grayson Allen right now. He's the best perimeter defender on this Longhorn squad, but he's averaging 11 points a game, 18 of 29 from the field on this young season.
And Allen's going to head to the bench. You have said often you can get a basket back, you can't get a foul back. Allen didn't want to give an uncontested layup there, so he knew what he was doing. He was committing his second foul knowing it was going to bring him out of the game.
Yeah, and he's a senior. I know he can play with foul trouble. You don't want to pick up a second foul this early. It just takes some of your aggressiveness away. But you know, what do they say? Discretion sometimes a better part of valor. And I've always believed that. You can get the basket back. You cannot get a foul back.
So Allen to the bench. Javin DeLaurier comes in for him. A big guy, really a front court player who's playing extremely well this year. Marvin Bagley III says, I know I had 18 and 15 yesterday, but I'm going to start things off with a three here today.
Well, and he's not been shooting the three particularly well coming into this tournament, shooting under 30% from three.
Two-man game, Jones and Ossetkowski. Now the double team on Jones. He sneaks through it. Ossetkowski left hand and good. What a start for him.
That's a skilled basketball player right there. Keeps a picture of Draymond Green in his locker.
It's amazing that coming out of high school, the only school that offered him a scholarship was Tulane. Bagley will finish, and he's fouled.
Broken play. And a great start for Texas in this ball game despite the foul. The Longhorns look strong.
They are up 5 on Duke in the early going despite this slam from Bagley. 14-9 Horns. ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is presented by State Farm. Talk to an agent today at 800 State Farm, and in part by One and All from Nike Basketball.
The phrase, "there's no finish line," comes from a Nike ad. Where did you think it came from? Facebook? The PK80 College Basketball Tournament on ESPN.
Welcome back to Portland. The PK80. We are inside the Moda Center. This is the Motion bracket, and a good start for Texas, leading Duke 14-9. Dan Schulman, Jay Billis, and let's welcome in Jeff Goodman.
Guys, all three of Mo Bamba, Marvin Bagley, and Wendell Carter played on the Nike circuit, but Mo Bamba never faced the other two, so this is the first time. After the game yesterday, Bamba was asked about it, and he really downplayed it, saying that, listen, this is a team matchup. I'm not going to get caught up in me against Marvin Bagley or anything like that. And you can see that Mo Bamba he's very mature. He's a guy that just kind of gets it in terms of team success is going to bring individual success for him.
All right, Jeff, thank you. It's funny, though, Jay, we saw him try to make two strong post moves as soon as this game began, which he really didn't do yesterday against Butler. He's much further along at the defensive end and still learning what he is offensively. Right?
Well, he was surrounded in the game against Butler. Didn't have an opportunity to go one-on-one in the post, but right now Duke going to the 2-3 zone out of the timeout. And Mike Krzyzewski went to this defense yesterday, and it wasn't cut up quite like this against Portland State. What a terrific drive and pass. Like, dribble penetration against a zone can be really debilitating, and that was a prime example of it.
Now a steal. Coleman being chased by Duval. Can't lay it in. It's out of bounds to Texas.
Well, Coleman was going up against a spectacular athlete in Trayvon Duval, and I think he needed to go in there and go off of 2 feet so that he could have got the foul and the bucket. Terrific screen up top by Osadkowski, and that meant that Wendell Carter Jr. had to come up. Anytime you help up, if you don't get help from that other low guy, that would have been Javin DeLaurier, you're going to be in trouble.
Boy, long offensive rebound comes down to Coleman, and Duke really fortunate to be down only 6. Texas had some great opportunities on that last trip to add to its lead.
But how about bringing in Jericho Sims for Mohamed Bamba? You're bringing in a spectacular athlete. I mean, he is really a spectacular athlete.
6'9" freshman out of Minneapolis. Trent trying to back down his man, now finds Duval. Carter with the free throw line. Texas staying at home on D, getting inside DeLaurier, no basket. A foul before the shot, and this is when Duke is so big and so long when they bring in DeLaurier at 6'10", 230 to, in effect, Jay, play the small forward spot. He's being guarded by a guard.
By Eric Davis there, and Davis really had no shot. And actually, he was really fortunate there that the foul was called right there, because that would have been an easy basket. That's one where, you know, you get the foul call and you're disappointed because it took a bucket away from you.
And inadvertently, Coleman kind of undercutting Trent and picking up a foul. His first. Shaka Smart, the head coach of the Longhorns, in his 3rd year down in Austin. 35 wins, 35 losses. Of course, a Final Four trip and a ton of success with VCU prior to that. Talks a lot about the culture, building the culture that he wants now, as year by year more of the players are players he recruited.
Well, Shaka Smart, you're not going to find a better person. You know, not only a great coach, but an amazing person. And he has built a fabulous culture. It had a great culture before with Rick Barnes. It's just different now under a different head coach.
Let's bring in Jeff Goodman again.
Yeah, Shaka Smart told me he set up a culture class starting in March with his players, something I've never heard of before, but they meet for an hour every single week and they go over a different culture principle. He's got 21 different culture principles and they go through it every single week.
Coming off a tough season a year ago, but again, a lot of new faces, more experience, some maturity they feel from some of the returning players. And Texas picked 4th in the Big 12 preseason behind Kansas, West Virginia, and TCU.
Yeah, some coaches call it a different thing. You know, Shaka Smart calls it culture class. A lot of programs do that, where they bring in different people to help educate their teams on other things and outside of basketball. But you know, Shaka Smart's one of the true gentlemen in the game and a terrific mentor for these young players.
That'll be a goaltend there as Sims got the ball after it hit the glass, so give the bucket to Duval.
Went in anyway, but I'll tell you, that's one where you don't mind a goaltend, just to let everybody know, I'm here. I mean, he went up and got that well above the rim. You know, Dan Dockett, sometimes I say your eyes make layups, and Dan likes to use it different. He says, you know, put your chin on the rim. Yeah. This guy can actually put his chin on the rim.
Duke in that 2-3 zone. We have seen the Blue Devils play a lot more zone this year than they traditionally do. And Mike Krzyzewski saying, well, for one, they're very young and they're still learning about man-to-man principles. And secondly, just the length and lateral movement that they have. Bagley at the offensive end. Duke back within 2.
That's a fantastic pass by Alex O'Connell. Ran to the corner. He's such a good shooter. Drew some defensive attention. And Texas got caught on the high side of Marvin Bagley. That pass was delivered just at the right spot.
Bamba leans in. Can't finish, but he's fouled by Marquise Bolden.
Well, teams today do such a great job of filling the corner. And Mohamed Bamba got caught on the high side and sort of sold out there. He needs to stay behind. You know, he's got a 7'9" wingspan. You're going to get caught in a bad spot for here and there. And just stay behind and make Marvin Bagley shoot over that 7'9" wingspan.
Bamba was a guy that everybody was recruiting, and he contemplated a lot of different schools. It was actually when he played for Shaka Smart at the under-18 tournament in the summer of 2016 back in Chile. Bamba hadn't committed yet, and Shaka Smart didn't talk to him about Texas, didn't really think he had a chance at him until one day Bamba said, "Hey, coach, can I come take a visit at Texas? I want to see it." And Shaka said, "Okay, of course. If you want to come, come." And eventually, with the bond the two developed down in Chile, that wound up being a big reason why Bamba committed to Texas.
Well, that's really good recruiting. Anytime, and remember this, Dan, anytime a top 5 player asks you if he can come on a visit, say yes.
That's genius. Trent gets his man in the air, misses the three. What a rebound by O'Connell.
He has a nice lift. He can shoot it. He's energetic. Clearly a good passer after that pass he delivered. That's an offensive foul.
And it is. Bagley called.
On the miss by Trent, O'Connell flying past Marquise Bolden to take that away. That would always cause a problem when I was playing. It always caused a problem when a guard came in and took a rebound away from a big guy. Like, stay in your lane, man. Come on.
This kid's a good player. He doesn't get the same attention some of the more highly touted freshmen are getting, some of the starters, but he's been tremendously productive for them. Bamba inside.
Bamba much more aggressive, looking for his offense in this game. Clearly, there was quite a bit of discussion from yesterday to today. You don't want to say he was passive against Butler, and Butler put a lot more defenders around him. He's going one-on-one in the post here and then going against the zone right now.
Eric Davis called for the foul.
And with a 7'9" wingspan, you know, not only can you shoot over really good shot blockers, when you're in a huddle, you can put your arms around everybody. He just did that. His arms were around everybody in the huddle.
At the line, Gary Trent Jr., his dad, a terrific player. Back in the day, the Shack of the Mac, a much different kind of player than his son is. Trent is more of a perimeter shooter, not as big as his dad was. A couple of subs coming in for the Longhorns.
He seems like he's just as strong as his dad. He's a powerful guard. So is he son of the Shack of the Mac?
He's son of the Shack of the Mac.
That's a mouthful.
And he's got a nice stroke. Grayson Allen back in, Trent to the bench. Remember, Allen's got 2 fouls.
And the zone not only helps change the tempo of the game, but it also will help Allen a little bit with those 2 fouls.
Bagley to the bench, and as soon as he gets his shoe tied, Wendell Carter Jr. is ready to come back in. Bolden in the middle of the bottom of the zone. Allen down at the bottom as well. O'Connell, the longer player at 6'6", he's up top along with Duval. Bamba gets a touch at the free throw line, and it goes down. He thought he missed it. He went and chased it, and now he grimaces a little bit. Had to come down a little bit awkwardly on that left foot, but appears to be okay.
He took that shot from the free throw line, and he was right there to tip it in.
Allen scoop, no good, and Bamba cradles the rebound, his 4th. Jacob Young in off the bench. Ian Coleman in the backcourt. Big problem for Texas last year, and quite frankly early this year, knocking down the 3. They come into the game just 29% as a team from beyond the arc.
Boy, when Osakowski touches the ball, they get a good shot.
Osakowski misses on the follow but keeps it alive, and Texas has a fresh 30.
And with the 2-3 zone, blockout responsibilities not defined, and that is a helpful thing for Mohamed Bamba and Osakowski.
Good ball movement by the Longhorns. Up and under for Young.
Jacob Young, the son of Michael Young, who played with the Houston Cougars in the early 80s, so he's son of Phi Slamma Jamma. So you got to get that ball to Marquise Bolden right away. He was wide open inside.
Instead, it's Duval for 3. That's not his strength, and Bamba has it again.
Can't miss open people like that.
Young with a head of steam. Misses the 4-foot floater, and back come the Blue Devils. Duval. O'Connell. Got it.
What a catch by Alex O'Connell. That was not the best of passes, although it will go down as an assist. And Trayvon Duval can tell everybody was right on the money, but it was just a spectacular catch and finish.
And O'Connell came out of nowhere. He flew right by us here at the table, and all of a sudden he was a part of the play.
Well, he did the same thing essentially against Portland State yesterday, where he caught the ball, did a complete spin, and was still able to get that to go down, get the shot to go down.
Coleman over O'Connell, misses the 3, rebound Bolden.
Not a good possession for Texas against the zone. That was a forced shot over an outstretched arm of a defender.
O'Connell into Carter.
That is a good post feed.
Turnaround jumper, yes.
That's a pro move right there. One-on-one in the post, hardest thing to guard in basketball in my judgment. And that was a beautiful pass by O'Connell.
Great start here in the semifinal of the motion bracket. Texas leading Duke 24-20. Great look from Ossetkowski. Roach into traffic, had it rejected.
That was a basket saver right there.
Allen, and a travel. Yes, it was. A travel called on Carter.
Trayvon Duval in transition. Little bounce pass. Too far out in front of Alex O'Connell. No, it wasn't. The catch and finish. And then Wendell Carter Jr. This is a pro move right here. The turnaround jumper. Texas with a short lead.
All right. Texas over Duke 24-29, 24 to go in the first half. Grayson Allen in his senior season now recently sat down to answer some very tough questions.
What's your name?
My name is Grayson Allen.
Have you ever threw a fit on the sideline? What's your coach's name?
My coach's name is Mike Krzyzewski.
I cannot pronounce.
K-R-Z-Y-Z-E-W-S-K-I. Krzyzewski. Chicken nuggets on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Chicken nuggets!
I give him credit for the spelling of Krzyzewski. I'm not sure he quite nailed the pronunciation of Krzyzewski, but how about the kid asking him, have you ever thrown a fit on the sideline?
Well, that really improved our sort of the reputation of the press right there. That was 4 better media members than I've encountered in my lifetime.
Goodman, pay attention, will you? Jeff Goodman with us here at the game today. This is a good one so far. Duke still back in the zone, 24-20. Texas leading. The winner of this gets the winner of Gonzaga and Florida. That game's coming up later on tonight, and that should be a great one. Ossetkowski, shovel pass into the corner, Young.
Texas needs to get the ball to Ossetkowski because he makes really good decisions with it.
And Marvin Bagley called for the push-off on Mo Bamba. This is a great matchup just to watch these two 6'11" freshmen, Bamba and Bagley, when they're in the same vicinity.
Gotta let him rebound though. I'm all for physicality, you know, sort of calling overly physical play in the post and cleaning up the post, but rebounding is not post play. All those two guys were doing there was rebounding.
And that's the second on Bagley. He goes to the bench, so Marquise Bolden getting more minutes up front for Duke. Boy, Ossetkowski wide open.
He's missed a couple open ones. I think he's even better when he puts the ball on the deck and draws some attention. Good pass.
Inside to Bolden, over Ossetkowski, no. And it's run down and saved by Jones.
Duke can really do that well, get into high-low situations. Their big guys are good passers, especially Wendell Carter Jr. and Marvin Bagley III.
Here's where he can really do some damage because he can do so many different things. Give him the assist on the 3 by Coleman.
Pivoting in the middle, he looked to the left and then turned and pivoted, looked to the right, and found Coleman wide open. Now Coleman not a great shooter, but boy is he a good point guard.
Texas 2 for 9 from beyond the arc today. Duke 1 for 5. Longhorns lead by 7. Duke trailed Portland State yesterday at halftime. Bamba with a very easy block for him from behind.
And Coleman did a really good job of staying in front without fouling. And what that did was give Mohamed Bamba some time to recover. And when you've got a shot blocker back there, you cannot foul. He almost did, though. He reached down. I didn't see him reaching down. He just needs to keep a hand straight up. Let Mohamed Bamba come swat the thing.
Shot clock at 5. Allen, number 3 on Grayson Allen.
Well, he just put that shoulder down and reached out. There was no question about that. No question. Well, that's a senior doing that. That's uncharacteristic of a senior that's played big minutes.
And give Roach a lot of credit for moving his feet. and staying in front of Allen. So Allen done for the half. Allen had that huge game against Michigan State in the Champions Classic, 37 points. Has been battling a bit of a wrist issue recently, has not shot the ball well since that game. Tipped away by O'Connell.
O'Connell's active.
7:39 to go here in the semifinal. Allen on the bench with foul trouble, and Duke down 7.
"28 teams, 14 matchups, all kinds of stars.
That's absolutely beautiful.
One challenge. The Big Ten ACC Challenge starts Monday.
Got a couple of good ones starting on a Monday, as you see, and then more action all through the week. Louisville, Purdue on Tuesday. Michigan's at Carolina. Duke's at Indiana in a doubleheader on a Wednesday, and then Notre Dame and Michigan State on Thursday. Some great matchups. We'll get a chance to see Michigan State later tonight here with the PK80. They will be taking on Connecticut over on the victory side of the bracket. Meanwhile, Grayson Allen, you saw him on the bench. He's got 3 fouls. Duke's down 7. Texas is playing really, really well. They haven't turned the ball over once until that shot clock violation.
is that the announcer's curse on the turnover?
That was the that was the turnover curse rearing its ugly head. Boy, Coleman plays the game with a kind of a really good karma about him, doesn't he? His energy out there, the positive energy he's got, the smile. He works hard.
He doesn't make mistakes. I mean, in this young season, he's got 20 assists and 2 turnovers.
Trent having to work really hard for his shot, and not a popular call on the Texas side of things as Roach gets whistled for a foul.
Well, it was the right call because Roach brought his arms down. And you basically have to keep your elbows by your ears here. Watch his hands now. He's hands straight up, but then he kind of brings them into his arms and brings them down just a bit. And that's called every time. But Roach is a really, really good defender. He's the best perimeter defender, and he's really embraced the role of being a stopper for Shaka Smart.
And Shaka Smart talking over that foul call with Anthony Jordan, one of the officials. A little hoop scoop on to Gary Trent Jr. We mentioned his dad was the Shaq of the MAC and picked 11th overall in the NBA draft in '95. Had a good long career. Again, dad was more of an interior big guy. Trent, a very solidly built guard, but known for his shot. He's a good outside shooter up at the top of the zone, or in the bottom of the zone, forgive me, in the corner, guarding Roach. Bamba kept the foot down. Jones with a drive and a foul call on Wendell Carter Jr.
Gary Trent went to Ohio U. Now, do you know the nickname of Ohio U?
Bobcats.
The Bobcats. Very well done.
8th team foul, so free throws coming here for Jones, who had 16 points yesterday in the win over Butler, a former McDonald's All-American. And Texas, with so many athletically talented wing players, they can score in transition, they can get to the rim, but it's not a great outside shooting team. And we'll see over the course of the season if Coleman, coming on as the point guard, gets easier shots and maybe a higher shooting percentage for some of his buddies.
Well, that was the problem last year. Texas didn't have a point guard, a true point guard. They shot 29% from 3. That was 342nd in the country out of 351.
A Duke turnover. Well, Mike Krzyzewski said yesterday, Jay, that his team just didn't come out hard enough and kind of ready to play it at their level in the first half against Portland State. They're down 7 now. Texas is a good team, but if you're Mike Krzyzewski, how do you feel about the first 13.5 minutes that you've seen out of your team today?
Well, you don't like the 3 fouls on Grayson Allen, obviously, and you don't like the fact that you necessarily had to go to a 2-3 zone because of foul trouble and trying to control the interior. But 7 points, I don't think either team feels like they're weighed down in this one. It's just it's a few possessions.
Alex O'Connell is putting on a clinic on moving without the ball.
He's put on a clinic just moving, period. And he moves laterally very well on the defensive end. He's so long-armed. But the ball finds the most energetic players on the floor. And it's not surprising, given the energy with which Alex O'Connell plays, that the ball finds him.
Came into the game having scored 36 points in 63 minutes on the season. Incredibly productive. Bolden goes to the bench. You saw Bagley check back in. He's got 2 fouls. Alex O'Connell's dad, David, played basketball at Duke back in the 70s before Mike Krzyzewski took over.
He's got a brother that plays right now at Georgia Southern. Good pass.
And a good strong baseline drive by Roach.
Well, that was just Roach taking advantage of a bigger guy, Wendell Carter Jr., having to guard out in the perimeter.
Largest lead of the game for Texas. Up to 9. Ositkowski's got it.
I think they felt Mohamed Bamba being around. I mean, he almost got caught on the high side again of Wendell Carter Jr. And there are times when he should just stay behind. And he wants to work hard to get around the front to deny those passes, but you're going to get caught behind from time to time. I'd rather have him back there blocking shots.
Everybody out on the perimeter right now for Texas. Coleman, an ill-advised behind-the-back decision. And Duval picked his pocket. And Bagley fouled by Bamba.
Really surprising to see Coleman go behind his back there. That was not a very smart play, especially when you're going against the 2-3 zone. That's like doing it in the middle of a double team. That was a giveaway on Texas's part.
So Bagley at the line, reclassified and immediately became the #1 incoming recruit in the ESPN 100. More action coming your way tonight. The PK80 motion bracket continues with both consolation and semifinal action. The consolation game 9 o'clock Eastern on ESPN2, Stanford and Ohio State. The semifinal, the second semifinal, is Florida and Gonzaga, with the winner of that to take on the winner of this in the championship on Sunday. The Gators put up 108 points on Stanford yesterday.
And it could have been more. It could have been more. I mean, that was as impressive. What, they had 14 threes in the first half. It was ridiculous how good Florida is.
Igor Kulichov, a grad transfer from Rice, is lethal.
He can really shoot it. He's an elite shooter. You have to make Igor Kulichev put the ball on the floor. Well, Jericho Sims doing a nice job of being active down in that zone.
Shot clock's at 4. And a 3 for Roach. Pushes the lead into double figures.
Well, Texas looks like a totally different team today versus yesterday. If you'll recall, I know you don't listen to me very much during the broadcast, but I said you could throw the tape away because...
Sorry, what was that?
This was not going to be the team. Yesterday's team was not going to be the team that played against Duke. They've come out engaged.
Bagley, the lefty, with a jump hook.
How about that shot?
Boy, he's so long and has such good elevation, it's almost like he's shooting the ball down by the time he gets in the air.
I think he is. I mean, that young man has got everything. Everything you want in a basketball player. And as soon as he starts knocking free throws down at a higher rate, you can forget it.
Ositkowski will try another 3.
He shoots a good ball. He just hasn't been able to knock those down.
Good deflection by Roach, and then unfortunately for him, he deflected it again and knocked it out of bounds. Less than 4 minutes to go here in the first half, and it's an uphill battle again for #1 Duke. ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is presented by State Farm. Talk to an agent today at 800-STATE Farm. And in part by Lowe's. Hurry in today for huge savings on all things winter. It doesn't take much to impress guys like me and Billis when it comes to hair, though. But we do talk about it a lot, and now, you know, Ositkowski definitely deserves some consideration. Right now, Shaka Smart just thrilled to have him in the program, thrilled to have Bamba, thrilled to have Coleman. Maybe as happy as he is to be up 10. Again, Jay, I think both you and I feel it actually could be more. They've missed a lot of good looks already.
I agree that the field goal percentage for Texas has been low. They're shooting 41% on the game, 3 of 13 from 3. But what they have done is they have not turned the ball over. And when you keep from turning it over, you're going to get shot attempts up, and they've done a very good job of not allowing second shots. Bad pass.
And Jordan Goldwire picks it off, a freshman from Norcross, Georgia, into the backcourt for the Blue Devils. Grayson Allen, if you've just joined us, on the bench with 3. Marvin Bagley, the third, is playing with 2. Back into Carter.
Got to make a quick move there. With that turnaround jumper, just catch it and go.
Oh, and a foul that the Longhorns would like to have back. They had Duke in a bit of trouble there, but Jones commits the foul. Number 2 on him.
And on this early season, Duke has not been a great free throw shooting team either. We had talked about Butler struggling in the game against Portland State from the free throw line. And you get the opportunity to go to the line, you got to knock those free throws down.
65% as a team on the season, 5 for 9 so far in this game. Delorier's become a much bigger part of the rotation this year than he was last. Energy, loose balls, blocking shots, rebounding, and so forth. They don't look for him to score all that much, but he seems to have found a role.
He's also gotten bigger from last year, which didn't seem possible. He's a big-time athlete, and to have his energy out there, he can impact the game with the energy he brings. But now he's getting out in passing lanes, and with his length, that adds a totally different dimension. I mean, look how big the back line of this zone is with Delorier, Wendell Carter Jr., and Marvin Bagley. That's a lot of long arms to have to deal with.
Yet Jones gets loose. Bagley cheated up from the corner of the zone, and Jones was wide open.
Yeah, he needed to be angled out a little bit more to where he can cover more ground, but you've got to be able to recover to a corner shooter. That's the, in a 2-3 zone, there shouldn't be a wide open shot from the corner. Bagley having to deal with Osetkowski and his strength down there.
So they go to Carter. One-on-one with Sims, got him in the air, and will shoot a couple of free throws.
Matt Coleman came over late to double, but it was really late because Wendell Carter had already turned to the baseline side. And I think when Bagley and Carter get one-on-one in the post, just go ahead and go. You don't need to back anybody in. Just make your move. Both of them can shoot those turnaround jumpers or put the ball on the deck and get into the middle.
Carter had a good game yesterday against Portland State. 16 points, 10 rebounds, and a couple of blocks. And he is 21, Jay, in his last 4 games. He is 21 for 25 from the field.
He's ridiculously talented. And when you talked about he had a good game against Portland State, he's seemingly had nothing but good games.
Yep.
He's averaging 13 and 9. 3 blocks. I mean, he's ridiculously good.
We want to enjoy these guys while they're in the college game. When you look at Bagley, Carter, and Bamba, do you think all 3 of them are likely top 10 picks?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. They're right there. I mean, they're all first-round picks and lottery picks. There are a couple of foreign players that are going to be in the mix for that as well. But, I mean, that's the reality of today's game is they're not going to stick around quite as long.
Jones misses the 3. Another offensive rebound. This time Jones will drive it, and Sims will flush it.
Boy, that was a great play. After the offensive rebound to kick it out and then go around the horn, then drive it. You know, a lot of times you look for that 3, but to be able to drive it and draw the defense. Because once a shot goes up, you're not thinking about playing defense anymore. You're thinking about converting to offense.
Duval banks it home off the glass. It's a 10-point game.
Duke has really strong guards. I mean, Trayvon Duval, Gary Trent Jr., those guys are really strong.
Osetkowski to the free throw line. Lobbing it inside for Sims. 2 more.
Got to get pressure on him. He can see over the defense. Just a fantastic passer. Highly skilled. And you can, you know, a lot of coaches say, hey, well, we can play through our big guys. You can really play through Dylan Osetkowski.
He's got 4 assists already in this game. Sims commits the foul, his second.
Well, maybe he got a little piece of the arm, but that looked like a good block at first, unless he carried through. He looked like he might have gotten a little bit of the arm, but that's as close to a good block as you're ever going to get.
The signal Tony Padilla made was that he got him on the shoulder. Sims doesn't agree with the call.
Not sure I do either, but it just shows the athleticism of Jericho Sims.
Carter back to the free throw line.
He was going against a big-time athlete in Wendell Carter Jr. too. It's a long time in this first half that Grayson Allen has been on the bench. He picked up those 3 fouls, the third being that offensive foul, and Duke needs not only his leadership, but they need his scoring ability out there.
Hasn't scored today, so 0 for 4 from the floor. 3 fouls. Allen a non-factor in the first half. Carter just missed a couple of free throws. And Duke as a team just 8 for 14.
The question is, can Duke get a couple of stops and a couple of buckets before halftime? Or is Texas going to be able to hold this lead or stretch it out? Let Osikowski touch it.
He drives it. He kicks it. Extra pass to Coleman for 3. And a great rebound by Delorier. Took it away from Osikowski. Great hustle by Sims to get back on the defensive end.
And how about the outlet there by Delorier?
Look at Roach. Oh! Oh!
Kerwin Roach is a champion triple jumper. Now he is a champion high jumper.
Answer at the other end by Trent, but it's the Roach slam that they'll be talking about at halftime here in Portland.
Halftime? I'll be talking about that for the next month.
He's still talking about it right now. Who did he go over? Was it Carter who was under the basket?
Yes. That was spectacular.
8 seconds in the half. Osikowski with a good position, too strong. And a timeout taken by Duke with 3.7 to go. Mike Krzyzewski out on the court and unhappy. Duke down a dozen. Well, this has been the play of the day so far here in this building. Kerwin Roach actually over Javin Delorier was the guy under the bucket. Man.
That was absolutely spectacular. Talk about rising up. Had a little something to say afterwards too, but hard to blame him. That was spectacular. Oh.
3 seconds to go. Trent almost banked it in, but the first half will come to a close with unranked Texas leading #1 Duke 43-31. Duke trailing at the half for the second day in a row. They got their work cut out for them against the Longhorns here in this semifinal at the PK80. Jeff Goodman is with Shaka Smart.
Shaka, you struggled to score yesterday in the first half. What's been able to be efficient against the zone here for Duke?
Well, we just talked about being aggressive. I thought early on when they went zone, we got the ball at the high post and really were able to attack. As the half went on, we got a little more passive, so we got to talk about that in the half and get back to being aggressive.
I want to know where you rank that Kerwin Roach dunk.
Well, it was a good one, but you know what? We got to move on to the next play when that stuff like that happens because Duke's a good team. They're going to make a run. We have to respond.
Thanks, Shaka.
Shaka Smart and the Longhorns up a dozen on the Blue Devils at halftime here at the PK80. Time now for the Alfa Romeo halftime report. Here are Matt Schick and Dallin Cuff. To ESPN's Feast Week, presented by Lowe's. You're watching the PK80 Invitational, presented by State Farm. Texas and Duke and the Longhorns are up by 12 going to the second half in this semifinal. Kerwin Roach the second with the play of the half, to say the least. This is continuing coverage of the PK80 Invitational, presented by State Farm. We're back here at the Moda Center. Duke, Texas, the winner to go to the final in the motion bracket. Let's show you what else is going on. The other semifinal is coming up later on tonight. You can see that game at 11 o'clock Eastern Time, 8 o'clock Pacific Time, and it should be a dandy. Gonzaga and Florida. You can see it right here on ESPN. Welcome back inside the Moda Center. Dan Shulman and Jay Billis. Are you surprised by what you saw in the first half?
Not surprised based on yesterday and how Texas played on the offensive end, but Texas's defense has been outstanding. They've held Duke to 44% from the field, 1 of 6 from three-point range. But remember, Grayson Allen didn't play very much in that first half due to 3 fouls. But the big guys for Texas have been terrific and really have had a big impact on the game. The question is, in the second half, will Grayson Allen have an impact on this game? 0 points in the first half with those 3 fouls. And with him not in there, that takes away a big dimension of Duke scoring, because this is a different Duke team. They do not shoot the ball from the perimeter as they have the past several years. They're more an inside-oriented team.
Jeff Goodman has a report.
I spoke to Duke assistant John Chower coming back on. 3 things. Whatever defense they're in, obviously they've got to be better. 2, have to move the ball, can't do it by themselves. And 3, and he said this over and over, we need life. We need life.
And kind of the same sentiment that some of the Duke side felt they lacked in the first half against Portland State yesterday. Meanwhile, Mohamed Bamba right now is using all of that 7'9" wingspan just to keep Trent from trying to get the ball in. He was fired up just when he deflected the first attempt out of bounds.
Well, can you imagine if they, and there's the size there, having to shoot over that. But can you imagine if Mohamed Bamba on an out of bounds underneath, if you got to get the ball in quickly with that wingspan?
Wide open 3 won't go down for Jones. Texas, even though they're up 12, they're only 4 for 17 now from 3-point range. But they've had 11 more shot attempts than Duke has had in this game. They're out rebounding them, and Texas hasn't turned the ball over very much.
That's the thing. Texas is getting shot attempts because they have not turned the ball over. Only 3 turnovers in that first half.
Bamba down with the rebound in between Bagley and Carter. Ossetkowski tried to make a difficult play. And here comes Bagley leading the break. Allen wide open.
That's what was missing in the first half for Duke. The ability to knock down multiple threes and to stretch the defense.
First points of the afternoon for Grayson Allen, but now nearly a turnover at the other end. Well, how often over the years have you seen a Duke team that maybe doesn't play as well as it expects to in the first half just come out firing on all cylinders to start the second half? Will today be another one of those cases? 9-point lead, Texas.
Texas has to run good offense here and be strong with the ball. Duke back in man-to-man. And you have to think they're going to target Grayson Allen with those 3 fouls because he will not want to pick up a 4th.
Oh, and a foul on Carter way out on the perimeter. He picks up his second. And clearly was a foul.
There's really no reason to reach there. Dylan Ossetkowski is a really good ball handler. And flex cut. See, Ossetkowski's got to get that right away because he can do something with it.
Draws the double team and turns it over. Duval to Allen. Allen keeps it alive, and Duke's got it back.
Boy, what a play by Allen.
Now Carter. Trent is open. And Bamba again above everybody else for the rebound.
Boy, Wendell Carter was right there to get that ball, and he's an outstanding two-handed rebounder, and Bamba with that length.
Yeah. Carter and Bagley used to getting just about every rebound that they go after, but with Bamba out there, it can be a different story.
I don't know why Mohamed Bamba wants to take that shot right now. And with a 9-point lead, he'll run some offense.
Bamba 1 for 8 this season from 3. Nice shot fake, nice feed. Allen to Bagley. And a timeout taken by Shaka Smart. Does not like the way the second half has begun.
Different play with Grayson, or different team with Grayson Allen on the floor. Allen able to make that big time play. The shot fake, the pass, and the finish.
A lot of compelling action here in Portland. The dunks of the day here at the PK80. Theo Pinson for the Tar Heels across the way at the Veterans Memorial Coliseum. And then late in the first half here, Kermit Roach the second for the Longhorns.
Well, I have seen Theo Pinson throw down one and two-handed dunks before. The Kerwin Roach jam just seemed like it came out of nowhere. He's a spectacular athlete. Mentioned that he's a multiple-time triple jump champion in high school and a great athlete, but that one, we both came out of our seats on that one.
It was 12 at the half for Texas. It's down to 7 now. That's why Shaka Smart called the timeout. Didn't like the way things were going. And see if Texas can run some good offense on this trip.
And really good teams. You're going to have a run made against you. You know, great offense is always going to beat great defense, but you have to answer those runs by scoring.
Ossetkowski, and good defense by Carter. And Ossetkowski just makes a play.
Well, Wendell Carter Jr. made only one mistake there. He did a great job defensively until he gave a little reach with his right hand. Once he reached, he was off balance a bit, and that allowed Ossetkowski to pivot and make that play.
And now a turnover. Duval gives it away. Coleman drops it back for Bamba.
You could see that one coming. Coleman was looking back. What a great job by Mohamed Bamba to run the floor. There was the answer that we were talking about. Out of the timeout, can you stop a run by running good offense and scoring yourself? And that's exactly what Texas did, then followed it up with the stop.
Bagley drives, floater no good. And it's out of bounds to Duke. Time now for the assist of the game, brought to you by State Farm.
Well, Matt Coleman is a fantastic freshman point guard, but threw that ball right behind his head. Is that the eyes in the back of your head play? And Mohamed Bamba, athletic and a 7'9" wingspan, it's just not fair.
That ball's still in play. Bagley draws the foul and will head to the free throw line.
It can hit the top of the backboard. It can't go over the backboard. Right. Mohamed Bamba right now asking, hey, it hit the backboard. Well, you shouldn't stop playing because it's over the backboard, not hitting it. Hit it twice, actually.
And again, as you've discussed the last couple of days, Bagley figures to spend a lot of time this season at the free throw line. And generally it has been a struggle for him. He's right about, came into the game at 50% on the season.
Yeah, in his career, he's going to spend a lot of time at two places. One, the free throw line, and the other, the bank.
Bamba's gone to the bench. Jericho Sims back into the game now for the Longhorns. Gave Texas a few good minutes off the bench in the first half. Both of those free throws look pretty good. Duke a little pressure.
1-2-2 3/4 court press. Got to get the ball into the middle. Got a freshman there, Jericho Sims. Eric Davis, a guy who can knock down a perimeter shot.
Roach will drive it and get all the way to the bucket easily.
But too many guys hugging their man. Nobody moved as the ball moved to be able to get in and stop that drive.
And Coleman is called for the foul. His second. An 11-point lead for Texas. Kerwin Roach electrified the crowd with a dunk in the first half. This drive here counts the same. 2 more points for the Longhorns. They've still got a double-digit lead. ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by Lowe's. Hurry in today for huge savings on all things winter. Texas continues to lead Duke here in the PK80 motion bracket semifinal in Portland, running some good offense.
Well, this is, people ask why Duke isn't play, or why they play zone. This is why. Look, guy's hugging his man right here, and you can't have that happen. This is not great ball screen defense. You want to force him into the screen, but guys are going to get by you. But once the ball handler gets by, Gary Trent is hugging up against his man instead of being in the middle of the lane as a help defender. You can rotate out of that. But that's just giving up an easy layup when somebody gets by you.
And Grayson Allen playing with 3 fouls. He didn't want to pick up the 4th, so he was kind of hoping for some help behind him, and it didn't get it.
Well, yeah, but he could have done a better job of forcing him to use the screen because Wendell Carter was supposed to be up there. You don't want to let a guy refuse the screen and go right to the bucket.
Allen with a long 2.
Totally different dimension offensively when Grayson Allen's in the game.
Well, you mentioned it. They're a team, a program that for many, many years has always had a ton of outside shooting. 4 out, 1 in. This is a very different kind of Duke basketball team.
And right now in man, Texas trying to spread Duke out so they can drive them. That's just not a good shot. I don't know why the big guys decide they want to shoot threes right now.
Ossetkowski 0 for 5 from beyond the arc. Bagley hollering for the ball, gets it. And Sims made him take a tough shot, but he also fouled him.
Yeah, you're exactly right. That was a tough shot. And Jericho Sims, instead of he's a great athlete, kind of keeping that arm up, he brought it down right into Bagley. Like, just keep the arm up. That's a tough shot. But that's a couple possessions in the second half where Texas has settled for a jump shot from a big guy. Instead of, you've got a team right now that is young and that has had to go zone at times to cover up the middle. Spread them out, drive them. And then you've also got Grayson Allen with 3 fouls. You give yourself a chance to put him in a position to make a defensive mistake.
Bagley, for the second time in a row, makes both of his free throws. And Duke now down by 7. The winner to play the winner of Florida and Gonzaga. That semifinal comes up later tonight, 11 o'clock Eastern time, 8 o'clock here locally in Portland, and you can see it right here on ESPN.
A lot of different ball screens, but you have to pass out of it, not just dribble out of it.
Roach still keeping the dribble alive. And the 3 rattles out for Young. Texas now 4 for 20 from 3-point range.
A poor shooting team settling for jump shots is not a good recipe. Like Texas is, they're helping Duke right now with their shot selection. It's not necessarily the defensive Duke, which you give credit to Duke for defending pretty well, but holy cow, I mean, if Texas is going to take jump shots, anybody will play the Longhorns in a jump shooting contest. They've got to attack the basket, get the ball inside. If you want to play inside out, that's a different deal.
Trayvon Duval at the free throw line for the Blue Devils. Comes into the game averaging 15 points and about 7 assists per game. 2 more good games coming up. We mentioned a Florida and a Gonzaga. It'll also be Michigan State taking on Connecticut. UConn defeating Oregon last night. That game starts at midnight Eastern, 9 o'clock here out west. Again, 2 buildings are in use. The Moda Center, the current home of the Trailblazers, that's where we are now and where the Florida Gonzaga game will be tonight. And then just across the way, literally like 50 feet away, is the Veterans Memorial Coliseum, the old building. Setkowski.
See, was that so hard? Drive the ball to the basket. And then if you draw defenders, then you can kick it out for a step-in shot.
Trent's got a nice mid-range game.
He's got a nice everything game.
Jones has checked back in for the Longhorns. Roach off the screen. Sims wants to post on Trent. Roach still going. Sims with a follow.
And Marvin Bagley did a nice job of keeping his hands up and forcing a tough 2. But nobody going after that defensive rebound. Jericho Sims all by himself.
Carter trying to back Sims down. Spins to the baseline. Bagley's got it. Out of bounds. Texas ball.
I think Bagley felt like he was fouled by the chest of Jericho Sims. These are some strong front court players. Here's the drive by Setkowski in the finish. And again, nobody comes over. Marvin Bagley looks like he was trying to block out. There's going to be no rebound off a shot like that.
Bamba's been on the bench for a while with 3 fouls. Sims taking his place. Sims has 3. But Shaka Smart trying to keep Bamba on the bench a little bit longer because of that foul situation. Setkowski, great move to muscle his way by Bolden. For 2 days now, we've seen Setkowski make great moves, just hasn't been able to finish as much as he would like.
Yeah, it was different finishing against the Butler interior players and finishing against like Marquise Bolden, who has a little more length. Discard.
Setkowski called for the foul. That'll be his first.
Setkowski is big, strong, and he's really skilled. He has a great feel for the game.
When he decided to transfer, he narrowed it down to Texas and Arizona and chose the Longhorns. By the way, how about what's going on in the Bahamas? Arizona and Purdue both have lost twice. They're playing each other for 7th place. Allen gets free on the inbounds. Duke fans to their feet. Back down to a 7-point game. Bolden with a block, but a whistle is blown and a foul called on Marquise Bolden, and every single player on the floor for Duke was hopping mad after that call.
Duke creating some momentum. A difficult play by Jones here. Well, that's not much. That is not much at all. We saw a play earlier where A Texas player got called for a foul. And what was a little contact with the shoulder, but that was even less. I think any time that a shot blocker brings an arm down, it's almost like the officials are trained to call that foul, even when there wasn't any contact.
Back to 9.
In their defense, these guys are so big, strong, and athletic. Sometimes they make plays that you might not anticipate. Roach is on Grayson Allen, a very good defender.
Bagley with the right hand. He's a lefty. Missed the shot. Stolen away by Duval. And he's fouled. No basket. Foul before the shot.
Trayvon Duval has been doing a great job after made field goals of getting up and putting pressure on the inbound pass. And this one he finally got. A big guy, Jericho Sims, caught the inbound. And he was able to take it right away from him, just deflect it.
Golden with a turnaround, not there, and down with a rebound, Sims. Texas also going a stretch here, Jay, without Coleman, their point guard. Roach again!
Really poor transition defense by Duke, but another great finish by Kerwin Roach. He can long jump too. His high jump is pretty darn impressive.
Man, when he gets going, he's got one thing on his mind, and that is getting to the bucket. 2 big jams for Roach today, and it's an 11-point game. We're starting to say Texas going without Matt Coleman, their point guard. He's got 3 fouls. As Duval misses the 3. Allen tried to save it, but into the hands of Davis. Oshikowski inside. Did they count it?
They did.
I think they did, and a foul as well, and back-to-back trips where nobody's at home for Duke to guard the bucket.
Dylan Osetkowski has been a difference maker for Texas basketball. They can play through him, and when he gets fouled, lays that right in. And again, the transition defense of the Duke Blue Devils, leaving the basket open for attack, high and low.
Roach slams it home, and the Longhorns continue to lead. Semifinal action here in the motion bracket of the PK80 presented by State Farm. Florida Gonzaga still to come in the second semifinal tonight right here on ESPN. And right now Duke's getting all they can handle and then some from Texas. The Longhorns are up 13 on the #1 ranked Blue Devils. The last time that #1 Duke lost to an unranked non-conference opponent was back in 2006 when they were defeated by Georgetown. And as for Texas, they have never beaten a #1 team. There's a long way to go, but the Longhorns are in a good position right now. They're up 13 with Osetkowski at the free throw line.
And Mohamed Bamba has been on the bench for quite some time. About to come back in. But Duke in the second half shooting 31%. Duke is 5 of 16 in the second half. And that was not just because of Mohamed Bamba patrolling the lane with his 7'9" wingspan blocking shots, because he spent a good part of this second half on the bench.
Bamba 8 points, 8 rebounds, all 8 at the defensive end. They're still going without Coleman. He's on the bench with 3 fouls. Trent misses a 3, and Duke just 2 for 12 from beyond the arc.
And another rebound for Mohamed Bamba. He should not be bringing the ball up.
And eventually it's going to cost them.
That's just a dumb play by Texas. There's no reason for that, but give credit. Trayvon Duval has been a pest in the backcourt. He's made it very difficult for Texas to get the ball in bounds, to make the pass they want.
Osetkowski comes up with a steal. And he's going to finish. What a play.
And does it with the left hand.
He's a player.
He's like having a 30-year-old NBA veteran out there. Especially as compared to these young pups that Duke is putting out there on the floor.
Bagley at the other end for Duke.
There's Trayvon Duval again, making the catch difficult.
14-point lead Longhorns as O'Connell gets ready to check into the game for the Blue Devils.
Marvin Bagley gambling there. Could have gotten burned. Texas needs to continue to attack in the inside, attack the paint.
Jones, long jumper.
Nobody blocks him out. And he had a clear path to the basket. Now you force the shot you want, which is a jump shot, and they wind up getting a layup anyway. And Texas has been, they've been the tougher team.
Duke's size always seems to go to their advantage this year with the Bolden and Bagley and Carter and others. But you get Bamba and Osakowski out there, and they can pretty much match him.
Well, Osakowski's stronger. I mean, the pass made here and taken away. Just a poor pass on the part of Trayvon Duval. But with a little bit of contact, he's still able to go up. But watch this shot. Nobody blocks him out. And Gary Trent Jr. trying to block him out, but that's just a mismatch physically.
Jeff Goodman's got more on Osakowski.
Coming out of high school, Osakowski's only offer, as you said earlier, was Tulane. UC Irvine offered him and then pulled the offer. He said his body about the same in terms of the weight, 260, but completely transformed it and said he really wasn't an above the rim guy, just there. Got above the rim to me.
Amazing. Even if that's all true, and I'm sure it is, there needs to be some kind of an investigation how only one Division I program offered that guy a scholarship coming out of high school.
Yeah, well, that happens at times, but he's still not an above the rim player. Above the rim player means you spend time up there. Guys that can dunk, you're still not above the rim players. But like Marvin Bagley is an above the rim player. Osakowski plays lower, but man, is he effective. You can run your offense through Osakowski. Yep. He's like a big point guard, a point forward.
Oh, remember, they call him the conductor. 17 points, 6 rebounds, 4 assists, and might have been better off putting that ball up himself than trying to make the play he just did for Bamba, because Bamba just picked up his 4th foul.
Is that the announcer's curse? You talk about how smart a guy is and he does something incredibly dumb. I mean, that was a dumb play by Osakowski. There's no other way to put it. He gets the ball right next to the basket after a defensive breakdown, and all he's got to do is put the ball up, and he can score or get fouled, because Bagley's got to come to him, or he draws Bagley to him, then he can give it off to Bamba.
So Osakowski was heading out. That didn't make any sense. It was Bamba who picked up his 4. Now they figure it out.
Just a miss. Yeah. That's where the team's got to communicate. You got to talk. You got to know who's coming out.
Coleman is back in the game as well. So their point guard sat for several minutes with 3 fouls, and Texas not only maintained but actually lengthened out this lead.
Well, in Texas, with 18 fouls, Duke's only got 3. So going down the stretch, Duke is going to be able to take a few chances defensively. They don't have to worry about picking up fouls that will put their opponent at the free throw line. Really right now for Texas, the issue is being strong with the ball and running good offense. You have to expect that coming down the stretch, Duke is going to be able to score. In order to win this game, Texas is going to have to score and score efficiently.
Bagley now 7 for 9 from the free throw line today, helping Duke to stay in it.
With this spread floor, you should be able to attack the basket.
Coleman passes up the 3. Roach driving on O'Connell, who fouls him.
A really nice play by Kerwin Roach. That was just a freshman O'Connell going for a little shot fake. You can put late pressure on that shot. The way Texas is shooting the ball, you shouldn't be worried about them putting up a perimeter jumper.
Texas is shooting just 20% from 3-point range today, 4 for 20. They're shooting 64% from 2-point range, 21 for 33.
Oh, what a pass.
Osakowski with his 5th assist of the game as he finds Jones.
That was a set play. They emptied out the left side and just suckered Duke into a back door. And then again, everybody on the weak side hugging their man, not in the middle of the lane.
Texas with a chance to run. Duval sensed it, so he commits the foul to slow them down.
Duke looks very young right now. They've looked young at times throughout the game and throughout the year, but Grayson Allen on an island all alone. There's no pressure on the ball at all. So the best passer, second best passer, Coleman's probably the best passer, Osikowski, able to just pick him apart.
Looks like he got picked apart a little bit, bleeding down his neck, or at least scraped down his neck.
Osikowski looks like he's in Braveheart. Freedom.
14-point lead, Longhorns. Coleman takes a bump, can't finish, and the loose ball down to Trent.
Good pass.
Carter almost threw it away. O'Connell tries to save it, and it is out of bounds.
Well, he can't get the ball in better position to score, and Wendell Carter Jr. just needs to take that. Just a little bit hesitant. I mean, he needs to just dominate in that spot. Right now a very quiet building,
yes,
in large measure because Texas has really controlled this second half.
Yeah, far more Duke fans here than Texas fans.
Duke made a run, cut it to 7. It looked like they were going to be able to get back into it.
Coleman into Sims. Everything but the finish. Boy, a textbook pick and roll, except Sims tried to make a very tough shot.
Instead of just bringing it down and going up, scoring, getting fouled, or both. And you know, Texas, if you're wearing orange right now, you have to feel like you should have a bigger lead.
And Carter fouled by Sims. That'll be his 4th. So he's the second big man for Texas to pick up foul number 4. ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is presented by State Farm. Talk to an agent today at 800 State Farm.
Joe Smith.
It's rivalry weekend, and ESPN has a couple of teams looking to stay in the college football playoff top 4 tomorrow. Oklahoma takes on West Virginia, 3:45 Eastern time, and then at 7:30 Eastern, third-ranked Clemson squares off against South Carolina. Both games also on the ESPN app. We saw number 2 go down in football today. Miami losing to Pitt. Number 1 Duke's in trouble here against Texas. 7:47 to go, and the Longhorns, to keep the football theme going, leading by a couple of touchdowns right now.
Where is Central Florida on that list?
Central Florida right now is up 49-42 on South Florida in the last minute of play in the 4th. You got to be happy. You got to assume that Wisconsin's going to move up, and that's one of the causes that you've been championing.
Well, I can read a stat sheet. They're 11-0.
Carter with the line for the Blue Devils.
You know, it's funny, Dan, after playing so many years of nothing but man-to-man, a lot of people have questions. Why is Mike Krzyzewski playing zone? Well, if you've been paying attention to the way Duke has defended in this game, I think you can tell why.
Alex O'Connell just made an enormous play for the Blue Devils, and Grayson Allen knocks down the 3.
Boy, they are so good at that. Grayson Allen runs to that three-point line. The ball was reversed. But Texas needs to continue to drive the ball.
Roach does. Shovel pass. And Osakowski missed a slam.
How many bunnies has Texas missed? Wow. I mean, Bamba. Osakowski when he tried to throw a lob to Bamba when he should have taken the shot.
Offensive rebound, Bagley. And Sims, who's playing with 4 fouls, had to let him go. Momentum shift. Timeout, Texas.
The momentum play started with the hustle play. Alex O'Connell going after the ball, saving it. And then a very alert pass from Gary Trent to Grayson Allen, spotting up in the corner, just running to that three-point line. And Marvin Bagley, I mean, good luck staying in front of this guy. But Jericho Sims is an excellent athlete. He just pivoted around, and all of a sudden Duke has new life. But when Texas has the ball, the Blue Devils defense has to be tested off the dribble by moving the defense, and then attacking, because Duke has not played great man-to-man defense in this game because they've been more man-oriented than ball-oriented. Whether you're guarding a ball screen or anything, when you're playing 5-on-5 defense in the half court, your priority defensively has to be the ball. And Duke's priority has been their man, and that's why they've had so many difficulties.
Shaka Smart has brought Mo Bamba back into the game. Sims has 4. He sits down. Bamba's got 4. He comes back in. So it's Osakowski guarded by Carter. It's Bamba guarded by Bagley.
1-4 low.
Shot clock inside 10. Jones lost it. Numbers for the Blue Devils. Allen. Bagley.
Another great pass by Grayson Allen. Texas has to show some poise here.
This is the closest this game has been this half.
They played with no game pressure. Now they're a little rattled. And a little bit of game pressure now, just 2 possessions down.
Osakowski driving on Carter. Gets it to go.
What a beautiful move. One-on-one in the post. And with his strength, it is so difficult for the slender Marvin Bagley III to keep him out of the lane.
Bagley dumped down, reverse, Carter. High-level offense right now.
Boy, those are 2 really good passing big men. Wendell Carter and Marvin Bagley.
Texas has led by as many as 16. Bamba has it swatted away. What a play, though. And Bamba going to the line after a great hustle play by Coleman.
On the 4th foul on Grayson Allen, just trying to save a basket. What a tremendous play to get that loose ball. That was absolutely big time. Now, Osakowski getting Wendell Carter into the lane, just going right over him. And those are 2 strong bodies going up against one another. And that's a beautiful pass. Absolutely beautiful pass by Marvin Bagley.
Bamba knocks down the first. Davis back in for Jones for the Longhorns. Still to come later tonight, the second semifinal, 11 o'clock Eastern time. Gonzaga and Florida. 1 of 2.
So that play by Matt Coleman, getting on the deck and getting the ball to Mohamed Bamba, was a fantastic play.
Allen, he was looking for the foul call and didn't get it.
Probably should have. I mean, he went right into the contact. Roach was trying to get over the top of that screen, and Allen recognized it and tried. He went up just to get the foul, didn't get it.
Roach.
Walk. Oh, offensive foul. I thought he called a walk. Yeah, just a little discard there. I thought he walked in addition to it. Not much, but the official was right on top of that. Just short little push.
The third on Roach.
What a pass.
Allen Carter for the slam.
Well, initially, he looked at Wendell Carter on the roll, but that was a spectacular pass. Or excuse me, Marvin Bagley on the roll. Spectacular pass to Wendell Carter.
Coleman, bounce pass. Ossetkowski. No foul call, but it stays with Texas.
Wow, that looked like a foul from here. But those are some big bodies. Beautiful pocket pass. I don't know how you missed that.
That's a foul.
I don't know how you missed that.
Roach to inbound. Coleman the drive. And a foul. I think it'll be Carter, who was sliding over to try to help.
Starting to get a little chippy out there.
And that's the 7th on Duke. That'll put the Longhorns into the bonus.
Gary Trent Jr. gave a little push to Eric Davis, and Davis didn't like it. So the officials right on top of it to separate everybody.
Coming up on SportsCenter tonight, the impact of Miami's loss to Pitt today on the college football playoff race. Plus, the day before the Iron Bowl, Marty Smith one-on-one with Nick Saban, and a report from Cleveland as Derrick Rose evaluates his future in basketball. This game will certainly be prominently featured on SportsCenter as well, regardless of how it goes the next 4:15. Allen driving. Underneath, Carter got it. And a timeout taken by Mike Krzyzewski. 4:10 to go. They were down 16 earlier in the second half. And the Blue Devils have gotten it down to a 4-point deficit here in this semifinal in Portland. It has been a great game here this afternoon between Texas and Duke. Texas led by as much as 16. The Blue Devils have it down to 4 now with a 4:10 left in the second half.
Now, Dylan Ossetkowski has been outstanding for Texas. He's made himself available inside. He can score in the post. He can step away. He's got 19 points, 6 rebounds, 5 assists, and a couple of steals. And I'm telling you, this guy, he's tough. He's inside out. He's probably the smartest player basketball IQ-wise on this Texas team, and he's made a big impact. But Grayson Allen has also made a big impact when he's been back on the floor in the second half. He hardly played in the first half, didn't score. He's had 12 points and 4 assists in the second half, and Duke's a different team offensively with Allen on the floor.
Road shot to Coleman, a good ball pressure by O'Connell. Under 4 minutes to play. Davis, 7 on the shot clock. Trent staying with him. Davis tries to thread the needle, and it's picked off by Carter.
Best defensive possession of the game for Duke.
Allen surrounded and gets out of it. And wide open is Carter. Over Bamba.
Wow. Well, initially it looked like Wendell Carter made a mistake by not taking that initial short corner jumper. That's a big-time post move over a 6'11" shot blocker with a 7'9" wingspan. And executing is just as hard as saying it.
Coleman for 3. Ripped down by Bagley.
And Texas continues to take jump shots.
The only time Duke has led in this game was at 2-0. Bagley ties it.
Bagley's got 26. Almost doesn't matter what you do. He's going to be productive. What a player.
Coleman driving on Allen.
Too much dribbling.
Bamba steps out. Long jumper. Not the shot Shaka Smart's looking for.
Wow.
Boy, did Smart have a look of disappointment on his face after that.
Well, he should. I mean, he's got a great talent in Mohamed Bamba, but that was not a good. That's 5. That's it. Boy, what a great play by Kerwin Roach to stay in front. Moved his feet. Boy, that's it for Grayson Allen. That is a huge play. And that's where that foul to try to stop Mohamed Bamba from scoring when he picked up his 4th may not have been the right thing to do. I mean, you understand the impulse and the instinct. This is great defense. That's great defense.
It's the second time Roach has drawn a charge on Allen in this game.
And both of them were obvious and incontrovertible.
So you think we're set up for a good finish, tied at 72 minutes on the clock? How much fun has this been?
And the best offensive guard for Duke, and the most experienced player and experienced winner going to the bench.
5 freshmen. 5 freshmen in the game right now for Duke. Driving Roach again.
I don't know where Wendell Carter was going. He just had no concept of man and ball.
How many times have we seen the back line of the Duke defense just not be there to help out?
Yeah, and that's the inexperience.
Bagley stripped. Duval comes up with it. Trent for 3. Saved by Carter in a fresh 30.
And Texas has had so many times where they've been able to attack the basket with no resistance at all. Kerwin Roach has had a number of, some of them contested, but a number of them not. And Alex O'Connell gives up the middle. Wendell Carter just tries to get back to his man. I mean, you got to make a stand right there. Go up, block the shot, or try to take a charge. I'd prefer the shot block, but that was a huge play by Kerwin Roach.
And look at the emotion, and it's Osipkowski doing most of the talking, most of the barking at his teammates right now. 1 minute and 11 seconds remain in regulation. Texas is up 2. Duke has the ball. Is 5 freshmen in the game right now. No Grayson Allen. He's fouled out. Is Bagley option number 1 for the Blue Devils?
I think he's option number 1, and then if that doesn't work, he's option number 2. And I'd let him touch the ball because he's such a good passer. If you get him the ball down low, it doesn't even have to be on the low block. A lot of big guys, you just get it to him on the low block. He can operate well off the block. And he's had another just outstanding performance. Double-figure rebounds, 26 points, couple of assists. And Marvin Bagley III has it all. And I think you get the ball into him and play through him. And if he kicks it out, then be ready to make a play, whether it's a shot or a drive.
Duke ball, here we go.
Got Carter isolated against Bamba. Remember, Bamba's got 4 fouls.
Bagley's being guarded by Osipkowski. 2 big-time matchups on the interior. Shot clock's at 10. Bagley wants it. Duval's going to drive at a baseline and get fouled by Coleman. Duval has missed both of his free throws in this game.
Shooting coming into the PK80, shooting under 60% from the free throw line.
Got a chance to tie it. And Duke is a team now 17 out of 28.
This is where free throw blockouts are huge.
Man, 12 missed free throws. It'll be Duke ball though. It's off Bamba.
Just talking about free throw blockouts, and Marvin Bagley just gave Bamba a little push in the back. And that ball was clearly off Bamba.
They're going to look at it, but this one shouldn't take long. It should belong to Duke. And it is Duke ball. So they get it back with 51.5 to go. Each team still has one timeout.
Well, they just got to use one anyway because everybody goes into their huddle and the referees can't break it up.
Duke ball again. Carter wants it. And Bamba did a good job getting around him.
Well, he had his arm around him. He's fortunate to get his 5th foul there.
Bagley driving. Bamba with a loud rejection.
And Duke was able to isolate Marvin Bagley on the left elbow. And he made a fantastic move, but just erased by a great shot blocker, Mohamed Bamba.
You know, a guy like Bagley, he might never have had that kind of thing happen to him before, given how big and tall and long he is. But Bamba coming over and swatting it away. What a great game. This has been between Duke and Texas, semifinal number 1 to Gonzaga, and Florida still to come. Whatever happens here, I think we're seeing that the Longhorns are a much different team now than they were a year ago.
No question. They have not shot the ball very well. It's not a great shooting team, but they're a much better defensive team, and they're a more confident team. This is a winning basketball team. I don't think there's any question about that. But having Dylan Osetkowski on the floor where you can run plays through your front court, that's a huge upgrade for this team. And the question is, can they sustain it for the last 36 seconds? Duke's going to have the ball again. And can they get a stop, or can they go to the other end and execute on the offensive end?
Grayson Allen is fouled out of this game. Duke ball with 15 on the shot clock. Trent on the drive. How about that? A chance to give the Blue Devils the lead.
And the foul on Bamba, that is his 5th. What a strong drive by Gary Trent Jr. We talked about his strength, his ability to shoot the ball, and he went up, took one right across the chops, and was still able to keep his eyes on the rim and finish that play. Look at that concentration level until he got hit and hit the deck. Never took his eyes off the rim.
Unbelievable turn of events here right off the inbounds as Trent ties it. Bamba fouls out. And now Trent with a chance to give the Blue Devils the lead. 32.8 to go. Texas has one timeout remaining.
Now a defensive substitution. Javin DeLaurier coming into the ballgame for Wendell Carter. Gives you a little bit better opportunity to guard a perimeter player and guard a drive. Now you got 5 guys that can really move laterally out on the floor.
Duke leads for the first time since the opening minute of the game.
Shaka Smart not going to call a timeout.
Coleman driving and fouled by Duval.
Duval had an arm bar on him.
9th team foul, 1-and-1 for Coleman.
DeLaurier stops the penetration, then the hesitation. That arm bar just on his hip, and the officials are going to call that 9 times out of 9.
So 1-and-1 for Coleman, who came into the game 67% on the season from the line. He's 1 for 2 today.
Wendell Carter back in on this rebound. And again, free throw blockouts are big plays.
Rattles in to tie it. Everybody standing here with the Moda Center in Portland for what has been an outstanding basketball game. No timeouts for Duke. And a chance to win it here in the closing seconds.
Not just the initial shot, the second shot.
Bagley one-on-one with Osetkowski down to 5 seconds. A 3-ball. Tip back up, no good. Carter no, and we go into overtime.
And the second shot was right there. A little surprised that Marvin Bagley settled for that kind of shot and didn't take it off the dribble against Osetkowski. But Texas almost gave up a second opportunity. What a game. These teams have fought and fought hard. But with that much time left, I think Mike Krzyzewski wanted a different kind of shot. A total open side. You wanted to see Marvin Bagley take that off the dribble. But first O'Connell and then Wendell Carter. Two opportunities for perhaps a second shot.
Well, a game this fun deserves at least another 5 minutes of basketball. We are headed for overtime. Grayson Allen is fouled out for Duke. Mo Bamba has fouled out for Texas. And these two teams are going to have to go overtime to see who makes the championship game here in the motion bracket at the PK 80 in Portland. Having any fun?
I don't know why you're trying to limit it to 5 minutes of extra
at least
play.
5.
Let's keep going.
Let's find out how Jeff Goodman feels about all this.
You know, you think the Texas bench right now in the huddle, they'd be down a little bit from letting the lead get away, but in fact, it's the opposite. They're coming back. They've got a lot of energy. Shaka Smart's got them really believing they can still win this game.
Well, as you said, he's a relentlessly upbeat person. We mentioned Bamba's out. Coleman and Sims each have 4. And for a team that was thought had a rough year last year, thought maybe not to be as connected as they needed to be. Now, granted, a lot of new players. Osetkowski is new, and Bamba is new, Coleman is new. But to take the #1 team in the country to overtime, what a statement Texas has made about the kind of year they could have in the Big 12. 2 more great games coming your way. On the motion side, it's Florida and Gonzaga. The winner of that to take on the winner of this in the motion championship on Sunday. In the victory bracket, it's number 4 Michigan State and UConn over at Veterans Memorial Coliseum across the way. That game starts at midnight Eastern time. All kinds of great action here at the PK 80. All right, trying to get the teams back on the floor to start overtime. Bagley leading the way for Duke today, 26 points, 11 rebounds. Osetkowski's got 19 points. He's the high scorer for the Longhorns, also 6 rebounds and 5 assists.
And Duke in a little bit better shape from a foul perspective. Matt Coleman with those 4 personal fouls, even though he's only 1 of 9 in this ball game, having his ball handling out on the floor is really important for Texas.
Sims also in the game with 4 because Bamba's fouled out. And it'll be Sims and Bagley on the tip.
Well, you have to have Sims in there right now because of the size that Duke puts on the floor. With Marvin Bagley and Wendell Carter, those are 2 big guys. They're big guys that are productive.
Duke ball.
Carter and Bagley have combined for 20 rebounds, 38 points.
And again, Duke with 5 freshmen in the game because Allen is fouled out.
Osetkowski moves his feet laterally pretty darn well for a guy with size.
Bagley keeps it and is fouled by Osetkowski. That'll be his 2nd.
Have to resist the temptation there to reach. It was a great move by Bagley to spin when he reached in with his left hand. You can say, well, he might have scored anyway. Of course he might have scored anyway. But you don't need these fouls.
Bagley now 7 for 10 today from the line. Remember, too, this is the 2nd game in as many days for both of these teams. They both went at it pretty hard yesterday. Duke trailed for much of the game before beating Portland State 99-81. And Texas won a very low-scoring affair against Butler, 61-48.
Well, this is essentially a conference tournament and the NCAA tournament simulated in one event. It's really a remarkable. That's a foul. It's really a remarkable event.
Sims out of the game.
It's a dumb play by Jericho Sims, just putting too much into a screen. Just go up there and stand there and let the let the cutter use the screen.
Well, now what does Shaka Smart do? Because another big guy's fouled out, and he needs somebody to guard either Bagley or Carter. Who's it going to be?
He's thinking about that right now himself.
I mean, he's got guards, and he's going to go to a guard. He had a choice between putting in a big guy who hasn't played and hardly plays, or going to an experienced guard. So it'll be Davis and somebody, Jones or Davis or Roach, one of those guys. Like a 6'4" guard's going to have to cover a 6'10" big man.
Well, you're going to have to, if you get caught in the post, you're just going to have to fight around in front and sit on his legs, and then hope there's really good pressure on the ball and good help side defense. But Duke right now, look, they're going to go with a 2-3 zone. But Duke right now should get the ball into the paint. I mean, this is a very small Texas team they're playing against right now.
Only one player over 6'4" on the floor for the Longhorns.
Going in their wide series, which are, that's too easy.
That's a good play.
That's just too easy.
When in doubt, lob it over the top and let Bagley go get it.
You figured that the fouls were going to become an issue.
Coleman drives, doesn't get it to go. Duke led in the opening minute of the game and in the last minute of regulation, and never in between. But now they've got the ball and the lead in overtime. Up top again.
All of a sudden, Texas is playing an NBA team.
Without the size to be able to match him.
Yeah, you can't with that back line being so small. Duke's just throwing right over the top.
Roach putting on a highlight reel show here today.
What is that, his fourth dunk of the game?
It is his fourth dunk, and they've all been impressive.
Now, Texas is only down a possession here. And this has not been a pretty, but I think they're back to man now, and you got to go inside.
Trent slips. Duval behind the back, offensive foul, Trayvon Duval.
Duval with a spectacular pass, but couldn't stop right before he ran into Roach. And the offensive foul negates the play.
So Texas with the ball down by 3 and a lot of time left to go here in overtime.
Duke needs to contain here, and this is not a team that is knocking down threes. They've been attacking the basket when they've been most effective.
Which is what Roach tries to do, and he got fouled by Trent. The call came from the official furthest away from the play. Actually, two of them blew their whistle at the same time, but it did look like he got hit on the side of the head.
That's what I was talking about a bit, was the idea of containing the dribble. So you don't have to worry about or worry as much about Texas pulling up and knocking in a three on you as you do containing the ball and keeping it in front of you.
Roach at the line for 2. We may be a long way from Durham, North Carolina, but there are a lot of Duke fans here in the Pacific Northwest. And a couple of huge misses at the line for Roach.
Where do you think Duke should go with the ball?
Well, I don't know much, but I think maybe giving it to number 35 down low might be good.
34 ain't bad either.
Carter's got Ossetkowski on him. Cross court, and the cutting O'Connell couldn't come up with the pass. It was way over his head from Carter, and they did not take advantage of having Bagley being covered by a guard.
Well, I mean, that's what I'm sure the Duke staff is going to be telling Trayvon Duval, is go into Bagley. Just a recognition issue for a point guard.
They have not had an answer for Bagley today. He's got 31.
We haven't really seen anybody with an answer for him yet.
Coleman, and skying for the rebound is Carter, his 10th.
That's another above the rim rebound for Wendell Carter with both hands.
And Texas is back in man, and a 6'4" guard, Davis, is on 6'11" Bagley. And Trent's been told, get to the other side of the court. Here it is. Open. Trent steps in. Floater. No. Texas ball. And here goes Jones. And here goes Jones. It's a 1-point game.
Duke's transition defense has given up so many easy baskets. And that was off of a short shot where you should be able to get back and cover up. But a couple of mistakes not getting the ball into Marvin Bagley when he should have had it. I mean, they're trying to isolate him on the left side of the floor. And that's a couple of possessions where they don't get it to him, where all of a sudden Texas takes advantage of a couple of offensive execution mistakes, and now the Longhorns with a great opportunity with 1:21 left to go in the first overtime.
Texas led by as many as 16 in the second half. Duke battled all the way back to tie it and actually had the ball at the end of regulation. Bagley misses the three. A couple of opportunities after that don't go down for Duke, so into overtime we go. And Duke does have great recognition early in overtime. Just getting it inside for Bagley. He dominates inside, but then they go away from him. And again, as you said, the defensive transition not there for the Blue Devils. And when you give these Texas guards a chance to attack, they know what they want to do with it.
Well, and remember, Duke got those two lobs to Marvin Bagley along the baseline when Texas tried to go 2-3 zone. They're back in man now, and that requires being in the right spots. And you had mentioned it when they were trying to isolate Marvin Bagley. Gary Trent on the wrong side of the floor needed to clear out to give him that space, because Bagley is an excellent passer. So if you run another guy at him, you run a double team at him, he's going to be able to find you.
And again, you say, we talked about it, you say that this is just part of being freshmen, that they're still learning how to play the game. And as talented as they are, things like isolating a big man or help defense, they're still learning these things.
Oh yeah, and they're going to keep getting better. I think it's kind of a scary thing. The #1 team, isn't there yet, but they're going to get a lot better, and they're going to get a lot better together. And that's really been one of the issues, if you want to be nitpicky about their man-to-man defense, and why Mike Krzyzewski has decided to play more zone in different spots. You play a 2-3 zone, your big guys are all positioned near the basket. You play man-to-man, and then all of a sudden they're pulled out for ball screens, and they've got to rotate, they've got to run longer distances, and you can get messed up in a hurry. And at times Duke gets very man-oriented on the weak side where they're hugging their man. And whether it's a ball screen, ball screens have to be guarded with all 5 guys, not just the guys that are involved in the ball screen action themselves. And so sometimes you get man-oriented instead of the priority being the ball. The ball will always tell you the right position to be in.
A 1-point lead for Duke. This is the reaction of Mike Krzyzewski and Jeff Capel after a turnover. Look at them pleading for better decision-making and better execution. And both coaches have had those kinds of moments today. Both teams have had some really high highs, but a few head-scratchers as well.
Yeah, coaching far worse and more emotional than playing.
Do they go to Bagley?
I don't think there's any other way to go.
He's got Roach on him. Roach trying to front him. Doing a pretty good job trying to deny.
Yeah, doing a great job.
Yep. Now behind him. Bagley gets the touch.
There's just no way you can stop that.
Yeah. And there's no way Duke should do anything other than do that.
Well, yeah, when they got to the high post, he was still in front. Then he got caught behind on the next pass.
Coleman fouled by Carter.
And that was really good patience, just isolating him and continuing to move the ball to find the right angle. The truth is a good post guy is always open. It's just a question of where the angle of the ball, where the ball is. And once you get it to him with a little guy on, it's over. It's absolutely over.
So let me ask you about this. Shaka Smart has one big guy, Ossetkowski. They're putting him on Carter as opposed to Bagley. Does it matter which guy Ossetkowski's on?
It does matter. I mean, I would put him on Marvin Bagley because that's where they want to go. Yeah. And he's not in. It's not like he's in heavy foul trouble. He's got a couple of fouls, but if they put him on Bagley, they're just going to go to Wendell Carter. Right. But I would rather try Wendell Carter because the Bagley thing ain't working out.
Coleman 1 of 2. Texas missing some free throws here in overtime.
Well, that's really let them down late in this game.
Duval trapped and gets out of it. Trent. Carter challenged by Ossetkowski and got it back.
That is unbelievable strength.
4-point game and the clock a factor.
There's really plenty of time. They just need to get something going to the basket. Get a score.
Roach looking for a cutter, doesn't have one. Davis baseline, no. Oshitkowski lost it. Coleman leaves it short. And they got a foul.
I think Duke might have grown up a little bit today.
I was going to say, these freshmen have learned a lot here this afternoon, haven't they? 5 of them on the floor right now.
With Grayson Allen out the last 2 minutes of regulation and throughout the overtime, for 5 freshmen to pull off this win, that is growing up in a hurry. And actually, Marvin Bagley should still be in high school if you want to get technical.
That's right, reclassified. Wendell Carter, who's going to the bench right now, one of the biggest plays in the game, sticking with it after the missed shot and then just slamming it home.
That was a man's finish. He was in traffic.
Trent with the offensive rebound. And that'll just about do it. What a game. What an effort put forth by both sides. There were mental mistakes on both sides, but the physical effort was tremendous.
Oh, it was a brawl of a game in a good way. Well, both teams really went after it, but I think you have to turn the page quickly. Both teams have to turn the page because they have a game tomorrow.
Sunday,
excuse me. They have a game Sunday. But this one's going to sting Texas because the Longhorns had to feel like they had this one for the taking, and they just couldn't finish it off.
You don't get many chances to beat number 1. Davis rejected by Delorier. The exclamation point at the end of a Duke victory. The Blue Devils come back from 16 down in the second half. And they beat the Texas Longhorns in overtime, 85-78, to advance to the championship game of the Motion Bracket. On Sunday, they will meet either Gonzaga or Florida. Those 2 great programs to meet tonight here on ESPN to decide who plays Duke in the championship and who plays Texas for 3rd place. What a game and what a tournament we have going on out here in Portland, and what an afternoon for Marvin Bagley III. He finishes with 34 points and 15 rebounds in the game, and Duke beats Texas in a thriller.
It's only November.
What a start to the college basketball season on a number of fronts in a number of tournaments here during Feast Week. And what a game we had here today as the Blue Devils take down the Longhorns in overtime and had to give everything they had to do it. They win 85-78. The Gators and the Zags coming up later on tonight in semifinal number 2. Jeff Goodman is with Marvin Bagley III.
Marvin, you tied J.J. Redick's freshman scoring record with 34 points. What was it like in the overtime without Grayson Allen out there?
Before I answer any questions again, man, I want to thank my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. Man, without him, I wouldn't even be here. But we came out hard in the second half. We had to fight back throughout this whole game, man. And we really got closer throughout this game. And it was the flow of the game. They kept feeding me. I thank my teammates for keep feeding me and looking for me in the right spots.
How was it when Texas had to go small in that overtime period? What are you thinking in terms of your size advantage?
Just attack. Got a mismatch. Coach called the right plays. My teammates again, got the right looks, threw the right passes, and my mindset was just keep going and keep attacking.
Without Grayson out there, he's clearly the leader of your team, the captain. How did you feel like you had to step up in that regard?
Man, he was just telling us to keep fighting, man. Even though he wasn't in the game, he was still that leader, that captain. Like you said, he was just telling us to keep fighting, keep pushing, don't give up on this game. We got a lot of time left, and we kept playing hard.
Thanks, Marvin.
Well, the foul trouble for the bigs for Texas proved to be the difference in this game, especially late. And Bagley took advantage, leading Duke into the championship game against the winner of Florida, and Gonzaga still to come tonight. For Jay Billis, Jeff Goodman, and the crew, I'm Dan Shulman saying thanks for watching. A little football action coming your way. Let's go to Charlottesville. Jason Benetti and Kelly Stauffer.